I am eyeing a trade for today.
Oh,
Nike.
what you got your eye on? Some Nike?
Yeah, Nike
Okay.
had a terrible earnings report. I will say I'm really low on Nike holistically, but I just feel like this has to be oversold down here at these levels now. I mean, you have to go back really far. I mean, I'm talking 20 years far to find Nike at these levels
Mhm.
again. I don't think Nike's going anywhere anytime soon. It's been a really rough last 6 months for Nike. There was a long time here where they were just consolidating and couldn't quite seem to make higher highs, and then they finally just slid. But this feels like a gap that should get filled to me. I don't know. I don't know that I could really see many more lows coming in for Nike here. So eyeing a lot of angles. I'm tempted to just sell a put naked, but I don't think I'm willing to get that aggressive. I'm not certain that there's not going to be any more downside to this, but I'm thinking this like 44, 45 day expiration cycle and just looking for a return to kind of this 50 level. It wouldn't even need to be a full gap fill. 44 days is kind of a tight time horizon for that, but I don't know. I feel like there's a solid chance that this thing recovers to 50. What's our premium looking like here? Yeah, I can get a 3-to-1 risk profile on this. 50 is obviously an aggressive recovery. I mean, we've been talking about 10%. What if I just straddle the moneyness here? Yeah, even that is a slightly better than 1-to-1 risk profile. Yeah, I'm gonna go for this 47.50. What's that look like on the chart right here? Yeah, that wouldn't be an insane recovery at all. 44 days is a long time. Nike not going to be particularly affected by this war, I don't think. So I'm willing to.
Who knows? Everybody's catching strays.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? They might just.
We're going to destroy Nike.
Yeah, they
that
might.
could be the headline tomorrow. But yeah, I'll fire on two of these. Should be able to get a fill. Yeah, good liquidity there. So get long some Nike here off the bottom here and see if we can't catch a little bounce. I don't even need a full gap fill. I just need like a quarter gap fill.
Yeah.
I'd be a happy camper.
I mean, Nike's definitely at that level where they're too big to fail. But good Lord, what did they say in the earnings? They're not going to dip their toes into AI? What are they?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they weren't planning on dipping.
I mean, good Lord.
Anyway, yeah, it was just. I mean, they had a miss and also lowered their guidance. So it's the double whammy, the miss and lower, the opposite of the envied beat and raise situation. Yeah. But yeah, 15% down move on a company that's this well established. And like I said, I don't really like Nike. This is not a long-term thesis. I would never grab a leap in this company.
You're not a long-term bull?
I don't know. I'm not. I just think the competition is just only increasing in the athletic wear space. It feels like every year or two now a new brand emerges and comes and takes more market share here. We've talked about it at length before, but it's the same thing that's happening to Lululemon. It's like forever they were this premier athletic wear brand, and then now.
So I didn't know that about Lulu before.
Oh yeah.
So I almost thought that Lulu was going on a second run, and I didn't even recognize. So I thought that 2020, 2021, 2022. I thought Lulu was on the come up for one of the first times. Maybe I was the one living under a rock. I didn't recognize they were popping elsewhere. So,
that was sort of when they started to get squeezed.
Right. I didn't even recognize. I was lacking that context. Yeah. So no, interesting angle there.
Yeah, and you see similar chart action on both. It's just both companies were just the premier provider in their space for Lulu a much shorter time interval than Nike, but for a long time, and then eventually competitors start to come in and eat away at that market share. Lulu has competitors in Viore. What's the other one you mentioned? Another one last time.
It's not Aloe. You're thinking.
Yeah, Aloe is.
Thinking Aloe, or we got Aritzia. So I know that's a little slightly different.
Yeah, but there's just like that upscale sort of athletic wear.
Yeah.
There's other companies that have started to enter that space with Lulu, and Nike is the same way. Forever they were the premier athletic shoe, and now there's just so much competition.
I mean, even you're right. Even into that athletic, that like leisure athletic wear space, like Nike used to have the Nike Pros, the Nike Pro Band, but if you look at it now, things have shifted to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
These things have less, they're less busy, less flashy logos, less poppin', whatever it might be, to something that's a little bit more minimal, aesthetically pleasing. And it's looked like, I don't know, the social climate has shifted that way.
Yes, but at the same time, they still do have a firm foothold,
100%.
and they have the legacy, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
Maybe they're starting to split into their own kind of subsections, kind of categories. Because now that I think about it, maybe like Nike, Under Armour, Reebok, Adidas could fit a little bit more in their own category, and then maybe Aloe, Lulu, and those kind of companies could
for sure
be in their own sub.
Yeah, I think those would be considered like premium upscale athletic wear, and then you have just like standard athletic wear is the other tier that you're talking about here. And I don't know that those two things generally compete with each other too heavily. I don't know that Lulu and Nike are necessarily direct competitors. I'm sure that there's some products where that could be argued, but at large, I don't really think that that's the case. But Nike certainly is a competitor with all the brands that you just named. Reebok, even Puma is making some good headway now. I know some NBA players are rolling with Puma as their signature shoe now. So yeah, just increased competition, been driving Nike down. I'm not a long-term bull, but I do think that this down move is a bit exaggerated for this size of company, especially after the continued sell-off into today. This level has just become too attractive. I wasn't like super enthused about this at open when they were down 11-12%. Now that they've slid all the way down to down 14% on the day, I feel like this is
a little more attractive.
Bottom and time to try to catch the knife. So
there's blood in the water for sure.
Getting long there. And like I said, I don't really think. I mean, aside from obviously being in the broader market, I don't think that the war should have too much impact on Nike here. I'd be shocked to see much lower lows come in. So being aggressive with that time horizon, but 47.50 is not far away. That would be a 2% move, not even. Yeah, like a 2% move to the upside. I guess no, 5%.
I mean.
My math is failing me.
I mean, we're down 15% on the day.
45 cents is 1%, so $2 is like 4 or 5%, which I don't think is out of the question, especially when you're talking about rebounding off this into this gap. So enough yapping about Nike, but I like it.